Welcome to State of Events. I'm Tessa Kleinbell.
And I'm Uilani Gray. The Professional Business Women of California kicked off its 28th annual conference in the Moscone Center in San Francisco. State of Events reporter Chloe Ortega was there. She's live in the studio to tell us about the event. How was it, Chloe?
Thanks, Uilani. The PBWC conference was a sold-out event packed with 6,000 people. Hillary Clinton was the most renowned speaker there. After months of keeping a low profile, she decided it was time to step out of the woods.
I am thrilled to be out of the woods. And in the company of so many inspiring women.
As former Secretary Hillary Clinton took the stage, she received a standing ovation. While she did not mention President Trump, she criticized the lack of women in Washington.
Women's representation in the current administration in Washington, for example, is the lowest it's been in a generation.
Clinton's speech was the most anticipated at the conference. The PBWC was founded by Congresswoman Jackie Speier in 1989. Speier was not able to attend this year's conference, but she found a way to be a part of the event.
Hello, powerful women of the Bay Area. I can't tell you how much it pains me not to be with you today.
Many other notable speakers were there, such as Mayor Libby Schaaf, Rosario Dawson, and Tajari P. Henson. This conference happens once a year, so if you didn't make it to this year's conference, there's always next. If you want to learn more information on PBWC, you can go to the State of Events Facebook page, where there will be a link to their website. Live from the studio, I'm Chloe Ortega, State of Events. Back to you, Tessa.
Thanks, Chloe. The designer of the iconic rainbow flag that has become the universal symbol for gay pride has died. 65-year-old Gilbert Baker created the flag for the San Francisco Gay Pride Festival in 1978. He was heavily involved in the gay rights movement and gained support from former President Barack Obama. Friends said he died in his sleep of undisclosed causes in New York City. Openly gay California State Senator Scott Wiener tweeted, "Rest in power, Gilbert. Your work helped define the modern LGBT movement." Friends and supporters gathered under Gilbert's flag in the Castro on Friday night.
A new HIV prevention method protects the body from the virus, and it's not a condom. State of Events' Dwayne Hibbert has the details.
Imagine one pill that can protect your cells from HIV. Well, that's exactly what PrEP does.
So PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. It is a pill that is taken daily, and when taken daily can reduce your risk for contracting HIV by up to 90%.
PrEP includes the pill Truvada. The pill isn't widely known. According to AIDS.gov, 1 in 3 doctors don't know what PrEP is.
You may have noticed that when you watch TV or sort of radio, you hear advertisements from various drug companies about sort of their newest, sort of like latest and greatest products, but you haven't seen one about PrEP yet. And that's because the manufacturers of Truvada, Gilead, haven't invested monies into doing that, and rightfully so. The drug is still very new.
There was a lot of benefits that came onto it, like just the assurance-wise.
PrEP's initial cost is expensive, reaching to about $13,000 a year. Fortunately, there are alternatives to receiving Truvada at a low cost or even free. Health centers like Strut can help navigate you to assistance programs and supply the best options for you to start PrEP.
Our PrEP program within the San Francisco Health Network, our navigator does a lot of that as well, helping people access Medi-Cal, and then they can access PrEP within our primary care systems.
PrEP has its pros, but what about its side effects?
It can cause kidney damage. It's relatively rare, but it does happen, and it's one of the reasons we monitor people frequently every 3 to 6 months while they're on PrEP, in case it does happen. It is reversible when you stop PrEP.
Truvada definitely has the capacity to protect millions from HIV, but it also has the capacity to stir up a group of diverse perspectives and opinions. To find out more about PrEP and its development, go to AIDS.gov. In San Francisco, Dwayne Hibbert, State of Events.
Chase Arena will be the new home to the Golden State Warriors, which has a lot of San Francisco Warrior fans excited to host their team. But nearby UCSF Hospital is not a fan of the logistical headache their facilities and nearby neighborhood faces. Katie Welge has the story.
The multi-purpose arena, currently under construction in the Mission Bay neighborhood of San Francisco, will primarily be used for basketball for the Warriors, who have played their home games at Oracle Arena since 1971. As the team travels across the bay, there are definitely some worries considering that the University of California San Francisco's hospital is their next door neighbor.
Parking's going to be non-existent. It's going to be absolutely terrible. It's already pretty rough. I imagine people are going to be walking like 10 blocks minimum to get to games or even just to get to work pretty much. It's going to be really rough.
Though there seems to be a lot of support concerning the new venue for San Francisco fans, the hospital workers are anticipating some new obstacles.
But we do land a lot of helicopters here at the hospital, especially for emergent situations, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that affects the helicopter pilots and what they're able to do and where they're able to fly when they come land at the hospital.
The hospital does have a heliport, but is the only one in San Francisco to have landing access, which is not to be expected to be any kind of substitute for ambulances.
You know, it's almost 100 games a year, just adds more gridlock to it. Doesn't seem like it was the smartest, well thought out there. Like ambulances already get stuck pretty much trying to get there already, so it can only get worse.
Aside from the arena itself, a line of restaurants will be hosted just a curry shot away from Chase, where fans will be able to watch the game even if they don't have tickets inside, including a 35,000-foot public plaza to hang out, drawing even more expected crowds. Chase Arena is expected to have 950 parking spaces, with the arena holding 18,000 fans. Now, the odds aren't good for your car and commuting, but the city is funding a central subway in 2019. In San Francisco, Katie Welge, State of Events.
Smokers are lit up about this new $2 tax that is rolling out in California. Voters approved Prop 56 last November, and it went into effect this weekend. Smokers say it's unfair and an added burden to their pocketbook. They're not kidding. The extra $2 comes on top of an existing $1.87 federal tax per pack. So before smokers take their first puff, they're paying $3.87 in taxes. Supporters say the tax will hopefully inspire smokers to quit. The money will be used for preventative programs and research into tobacco-related diseases. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, find out what is happening at SFO that will be delaying flights for the next month.
And we'll tell you why charging your devices near your bed could be a deadly decision. All that and more coming up on State of Events. Stay with us.
Welcome back to State of Events. Intense raining triggered an avalanche of mud and water in the city of Mocoa, Colombia. CNN reported at least 254 people were killed, 400 more were injured, and 220 remain missing. Witnesses described debris and boulder rocks that shook buildings, wiped out homes, and lifted trucks downstream. The rainfall accumulated in one night was more than the region normally gets in the entire month of March. The authorities expect the death toll to rise, according to the Associated Press.
In Russia, at least 14 people have died and over 50 injured in a blast on the St. Petersburg metro train. Just before rush hour on Monday afternoon, an explosion tore through the train as it was traveling between two stations. A second device was found and defused at another station. Authorities believe a 22-year-old male suicide bomber detonated the explosive in the train car. No group has claimed responsibility, and authorities believe it is possible he acted alone. President Putin was in the city of St. Petersburg at the time of the attack and says terrorism is a likely cause. From global news in Russia to the latest news here in the U.S., President Donald Trump issued new executive orders, and it's causing quite a stir. State of Events reporter Matt Fowler has the story and more in politics.
Thanks, Tessa. As we near day 100 of the Trump administration, the commander-in-chief continues to push his agenda. Most recently, the issue was trade. President Trump wasted no time drafting yet another executive order.
Nobody's ever made bad trade deals like our country has made. I saw the shuttered factories and spent time with the laid-off factory workers.
President Trump signed two more executive orders this week, this time targeting trade, as he promised during his campaign.
I talk about China, but remember, I talk about China for a reason. They're the biggest abuser. They're the biggest, and they're the biggest abuser. But every country, virtually, every country that we do business with looks at us as the stupid people. We're the piggy bank that they're just keeping. They take our jobs, They take our money. They don't respect us. We have political hacks negotiating the biggest deals in the world. You know, you read about corporate deals. Trade deals blow them away. There are no corporate deals that are big like these trade deals when you talk about a $505 billion trade deficit. First, I'm signing an executive order to ensure that we fully collect all duties imposed on foreign importers that cheat.
The first executive order aims to collect the unpaid taxes from imports over the past 15 years. The second executive order aims to investigate those abuses. Not surprisingly, the left-leaning media were not too pleased.
This week, President Trump welcomes Chinese President Xi for a visit to his private Florida club, Mar-a-Lago. Awkward, perhaps, to suggest a round of golf with a man whose country you've just accused of raping America. So what might be on the agenda?
But for President Trump, he knows that this is just part of the job of being President of the United States.
While it remains to be seen what effects these orders will have, it's clear this is a controversial road and an uphill battle for the 45th President of the United States. I'm Matt Fowler. Tessa, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Matt. President Trump approved federal aid for storm recovery efforts in 8 Bay Area counties. The president declared a major disaster after last month's winter storms. Federal disaster assistance is available for state, eligible local governments, and some nonprofits. The money will be used for emergency work and repairs caused by the recent storms. Federal money is also available to California for work to prevent or reduce damage from future storms.
How many of you admit to charging your phone in bed? Well, for Wiley Day of Huntsville, Alabama, he did just that and almost found himself electrocuted to death. While sleeping, his iPhone became detached from the charger and the dog tag necklace hit the exposed prongs of the charger, electrocuting him. His doctor told the Washington Post that 100 volts would kill a person. Day had been hit with about 110 volts of electricity. His physician said he's lucky to be alive. The moral to this story is no electrical devices in the bed while you sleep.
Time now for our special international news segment on Latin America. Colombia has declared a state of emergency after major mudslides kill over 200 people and displace thousands.
State Events reporter Karen Cordero joins us for Studio 3 to bring you the latest news in the Southern Hemisphere. Karen?
Thank you, Tessa. After a decade under President Rafael Correa, the people of Ecuador recently elected a new president. We have this story and more as we take you on a trip to Latin America. Ecuador's ruling party candidate Lenin Moreno claims victory in tight presidential election against conservative opponent Guillermo Lasso. With 99% of votes counted, the country's National Electoral Council says Moreno earned 51% of the votes, while Lasso earned 48% in this weekend's runoff election. Following the CNE's announcement, Lasso called for his supporters to peacefully protest against the results and demand for a vote recount. Representatives of the Union of South American Nations say there was no evidence of fraud. Moreno will take office on May 24th of this year. A well-known newspaper in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, closes after the violent death of 3 journalists. According to Mexican authorities, Miroslava Breach was one of the 3 journalists killed. Breach was reportedly shot 8 times while sitting in her car on March 23rd. Oscar Cantu, the owner of El Norte newspaper, says the violence against journalists and the lack of punishments for those responsible is forcing them to stop printing. This Sunday marked the last print edition of El Norte. And in Paraguay, at least 1 person is dead and 30 others injured after protesters set Congress building on fire. The violence began when a majority of the country's senators approved a bill that would allow President Horacio Cartes to run for a second term. Paraguay's National Police says firefighters rushed to the scene Friday night, while riot police showed up with water tanks and rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. Opponents say the new law will weaken Paraguay's democracy in the future. That is all for today's top stories in Latin America, but stay tuned to State of Events for more international news updates. I'm Karen Cordero. Ulani, back to you guys at the desk.
And in world news, we're joined in the studio by Ashman Ram.
She'll update us on the critical air pollution in India, the arrest of former South Korea president, and one of the happiest countries in the world. Ashman?
Thanks, ladies. According to the 2017 State of Global Air Report, India now competes with China in terms of air pollution and health burdens. Also, former South Korean President Park Geun-hye is arrested on alleged bribery charges. And lastly, a recent poll shows that despite the recent deadly mudslides, Colombia is one of the world's most joyful countries. Let's take a look. Due to an increase in vehicle traffic, coal power plants, and other industrial facilities, air pollution levels have increased dramatically in New Delhi, India. According to Health Effects Institute, 1.1 million people are dying prematurely every year in India from the effects of air pollution. And in South Korea, former President Park Geun-hye was impeached from office in March and was now arrested on Friday for charges related to abusing political power and accepting company bribes. Thousands of supporters and anti-Park supporters demonstrated on the main streets of South Korea. And lastly, Gallup International poll proclaimed Colombia is one of the happiest countries in the world. It is known for having more festivals than calendar days. According to the poll, Colombians live to celebrate. And according to locals, money is nice, but not the most important thing. And to sum up world news, former President Park Geun-hye is being held in a temporary detention center. And Indian citizens hope that the government will make changes and protect public health. I'm Ashman Ram. Back to you.
When we come back, the Giants kicked off baseball season by making history in the desert. Sports reporter Michaela Walker will join us to tell you what happened.
And nearly half of millennials in the Bay Area want to move away. We'll tell you why coming up on State of Events.
Be sustainable. Be sustainable. Live sustainably.
Welcome back to State of Events. Terrorist groups are testing laptop bombs that can possibly get through airport security. The U.S. intelligence officials are saying that Al-Qaeda and ISIS have been developing the device using our own airport scanning machines, prompting the U.S. and U.K. to quickly ban large electronics in carry-on luggage to the U.S. from 10 airports. Right now, the laptop ban does not affect any domestic flights on international flights leaving the U.S. Experts say that could change in the future.
A runway at SFO closed over the weekend for the start of a revamping project. SFO says the project is equivalent to paving a 10-mile, 4-lane highway. The FAA says to expect some delays for arriving flights. This past weekend, some flights were delayed for as long as an hour and 20 minutes. Similar closures are planned for weekends through June.
The Bay Area is a great place to live, or is it? There's a new survey showing the unhappy results, particularly amongst millennials. State of Events' Vanessa Ariola has the details on just how the millennials' misery is impacting the Bay Area.
The cost of living here in the Bay Area is so extreme, some residents have resorted to living out of their cars. The average price for a one-bedroom apartment here in San Francisco is $3,400. That's enough to rent a 5-bedroom house in Houston, Texas.
Nearly 50% of the Bay Area residents would leave the Bay Area if they could. Bay Area residents say the cost of living, traffic, and housing are among the 3 biggest problems in the 9-county region. Those problems might end up driving people out of the region altogether. According to the Bay Area Council's 2017 Public Opinion Survey, 46% of millennials said that they are thinking of leaving the Bay Area within the next few years. In an interview with KTVU, Adora Gibson states her stress of living in the Bay Area.
It was overcrowded, expensive, cost of living, and too much traffic.
We went to Antioch.
And it was even more traffic, so that's why I'm back. Might as well deal with it here.
Rihanna Williams, an SF State student, explains the trouble of balancing work and school with the high rent prices.
I'm a full-time student at San Francisco State, and I work at Victoria's Secret currently, and I'm making minimum wage. Cost of living just went up. Like they sold a house down the street from my old military school neighborhood that was once considered bad.
This is a growing problem for millennials here in the Bay Area, and it could impact Bay Area workforce and economy. In San Francisco, I'm Vanessa Ariola. Back to you, Tessa, in the studio.
In BizTech, electric or e-bikes are hitting more of the Bay Area roads. On average, basic models cost between $1,500 and $2,500. State of Events' Abene Clayton went to Pacific e-bikes in Berkeley to learn more.
As you can see, I got to ride one of the bikes and it was super fun and way faster than I expected, which explains why it's becoming so popular among the Bay Area's commuters.
You're using that throttle and you just go, vroom! And it is so much fun.
Besides satisfying a need for speed, commuting on your e-bike can save you money.
$6,000 a year, just biking to work, no gas, no parking, no nothing.
Burnett emphasizes that these are bicycles first, just with a couple upgrades.
It has an electronic motor on it that you either pedal and it gives you assistance pedaling, or you turn the throttle and it turns it kind of like a motorcycle.
Most e-bike riders are commuters, and now new markets are forming.
60 plus. See, like there's a little bit more easy ride. It's for anybody who, either doesn't want to lift their leg real high to get on the bike, or someone who has trouble lifting their leg.
There's just one benefit that Burnett forgot to mention.
Do you know what's really fun too? Is just speeding ahead of everyone. I just get a little kick out of that, I have to say.
Governor Brown signed the first e-bike laws in 2015, capping the speed of the bikes at 28 miles an hour. Other than that, e-bike users must follow the same rules as other cyclists. And as always, if you're going to ride on the street, wear a helmet. Reporting live, I'm Auburnay Clayton, State of Events. Back to you at the desk.
We're going to take one more break, but when we return, we'll tell you about how one teacher raised $80,000 for her students and what it went towards.
And the Giants' new season got off to a rocky start in Arizona. We'll talk about what happened when we return on State of Events.
Welcome back to State of Events. Are you ready for some baseball?
Yes, State of Events sport anchor Michaela Walker joins us talking some baseball.
Oh yes, definitely. Giants and A's. A lot going on in the Bay right now.
All right, yes. Yeah. A's are grounded in Oakland. Love it.
Yes, and the Giants got a lot going on with them. Bay Area baseball is back. The San Francisco Giants take on the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. There were strikeouts to go around and history was made. Let's take a look.
Madison Bumgarner took the mound Sunday as he prepared to start the season for the Giants. He not only pitched a solid 7 innings with 11 strikeouts and allowing only 3 runs, he also hit not 1, but 2 home runs, being the first pitcher in history to do that on an opening day. All that was not enough as the Diamondbacks fought back with a home run in the bottom of the 6th that tied the game at 3. The Giants regained and retained the lead until the 9th inning. However, the bullpen was unable to close out the game. New closer Mark Melancon received the loss as Chris Owen hit a single to bring in the winning walk-off run in the bottom of the 9th inning, winning the game 6-5.
Never really want to start it off this way, especially after having a performance by Madison. It's one of the more impressive games I've ever seen by anybody, so really wanted to cap it off with a good start for him. And obviously didn't do that.
Yeah, they're human, these guys, we forget that sometimes. They're going to make mistakes and give up some runs occasionally.
The Giants will have another chance at the Diamondbacks as they start a 3-game series tonight at 7. They will be playing for their first win behind starting pitcher Johnny Cueto.
That's pretty amazing.
So the Battle of the Bay between fans continues.
Yeah, we'll try to see if...
And the A's are up.
Oh yeah, we'll try to see if the Giants can catch up. So we'll see how things go.
Awesome. Next game's tonight?
Next game is tonight at 7.
Both teams?
And the A's, I believe, play at 7 as well. So yeah, it should be good.
Right.
Awesome. We'll be watching.
In the 1950s, baseball cards would come with a pack of gum. But over the years, collecting sports memorabilia has become an expensive hobby. Reporter Justin McCarthy looks into the money to be made and the allure for private collectors to sell their piece of sports history.
For decades, collecting sports memorabilia has grown in popularity. And with it, so has the price of collecting. Jim Bernardini, owner of Lefty Sports Cards in Burlingame, says when collecting...
Don't let somebody talk you into buying something that you don't like. You look at 2 things next to each other, and one might be $5, one might be $50. Or maybe you like the $5 one better. It looks better, it's more exciting to you. Collect what you like.
And they have everything from bobbleheads to signed jerseys from players of old to players who have just arrived. But but they all come with a price. While many sports memorabilia stores, like Lefty's, have many desired pieces of sports memorabilia for sale, there are some private collectors whose value isn't in the price tags of their collections, but in the memories. One such collector is Rob McCarthy from Union City. Attending signing conventions and being an avid sports fan since he was a kid led to such a vast collection of sports history, including 2 binders of 22-karat gold baseball cards and hundreds of signed photos. With others cashing in on their pieces of sports history, Rob has other ideas for his collection.
One thing I'll probably do is pass this on to my children, and if they want to display them, they can show them as well, and well beyond my years. So that's something that I treasure most, is being able to pass it along.
So it was never about the monetary value?
No, it was just about the fun about collecting them and having them to display and have them as conversational pieces.
Whether you're looking for a wall full of signed pictures or just starting your collection with a few baseball cards, sometimes the richness isn't in the price tags, but in the memories. In Burlingame and Union City, I'm Justin McCarthy.
Now time for a catch-up on entertainment news. Country artists battled it out at the 52nd Academy of Country Music Awards. Miranda Lambert went home with a couple awards, while Florida Georgia Line took home Single of the Year. And Luke Bryan hosted the show and made sure everyone had a good time.
While the CMAs happened, more celebrities came out with some interesting news. Find out more about what went down in entertainment this week with our reporter, Majestique Bellamy, who joins us in the studio.
In the world of entertainment, a whole lot. For a start, Chance the Rapper is showing his passion for his hometown and giving back. And see what movie bumped Beauty and the Beast from the top this weekend. But first, let's take a look at how Tyra Banks is changing the world of fashion once again.
The 3 of you that will still be in the running towards becoming America's Next Top.
Supermodel Tyra Banks is breaking traditions in fashion as she returns to America's Next Top Model. As executive producer and co-creator of the show, she took to Twitter announcing that she would be ending the age limit rule.
You want to audition for America's Next Top Model? I don't care how old you are, honey. You just need to know how to smize and be open to learning how to work the runway.
Before this, you couldn't be over 27 to become the next top model. The change addresses ageism in the modeling industry and breaks down stereotypes that being attractive depends on your age. Tyra is also the one that opened the doors for guys on the show and got rid of the height limit, allowing all types of beauty to smize their way to the top. Chance the Rapper is the gift giver who keeps on giving. Earlier last month, the Chicago native broke headlines announcing he would give $1.1 million to Chicago public schools. Chance states that he wants to focus on funding art programs for the youth.
As an artist and an after-school teacher, I know the arts are essential. They teach students invaluable lessons like practice makes perfect. That small differences can have large effects, and that collaboration leads to creativity.
It was then announced this week that the Chicago Bulls would be matching the amount for the school's arts programs, raising $2.2 million.
And finally, in the box office, Boss Baby is enjoying the view at the top, taking home $49 million opening weekend and bumping Beauty and the Beast from the top. But Beauty and the Beast did take home an extra $48 million. The movie is nearly at $400 million in just 3 weeks. Ghost in the Shell didn't have much luck opening weekend, making just $19 million. Better luck next time. That's it for your entertainment news roundup. I'm Majestique Bellamy for State of Events. Stay tuned next week. Tessa, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jess. And we leave you with this amazing story of a dedicated elementary teacher in South Carolina who raised $80,000 to buy bicycles for every student at school. Katie Blomquist learned that many of her students did not have a bike because their families couldn't afford one. Blomquist was going to be sure every child would have their own. She launched an online fundraising campaign and raised the money in 3 months. Volunteers helped assemble the bikes for the big surprise.
April is National Distracted Driving Month. It puts safety first in text messages, arriving on time, and friends under the influence in the back seat. During the month of April, several organizations unite under the same mission to encourage everyone to drive with focus and to reach their destination safely. Let's do our part to stop distracted driving by not texting and driving. Try not to eat in your car, and ladies, put your makeup on at home. It's the little things that can save lives.
And that'll do it for this week on State of Events.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week.
See you then.